Good morning, everyone. It's a good thing I didn't fix my hair first before doing this video, because I'm making a point here. Now, I got tagged by Al1981X, and the tag is "What really grinds my gears." Okay, so I woke up this morning, went and did my bathroom ritual. I sit down, I start watching YouTube, I check my comments and my emails, and, you know, that's what I'm going to go over as far as what grinds my gears, because if I have a whole channel about what grinds my gears, I could spend forever talking about it, but we're going to say this is the first thing that ground my gears this morning, and it has to do with first impressions. The first interaction that you have with someone else. Now, recently, I just had a back and forth with a girl named Debbie, where we got off on the wrong foot, both of us, and now, we've talked and we understand each other a little bit better. But when somebody comes at me from out of nowhere, I've never met the person, and they call me a piece of shit, or say, fuck off and die, anything like that. When that's my first impression of them, I have no motivation whatsoever to go check them out. And Debbie was lucky that I did, take some time to actually try to find out where she was coming from. But here in my comments this morning, from South Dakota Girl 30, someone I've never had any interaction with whatsoever, the comment starts out with, "This is utter bullshit." So, she has a problem with me saying that Losoyo not liking the video, The Expletive Bible, and then unsubscribing from Phantom Lion and then him saying in defense that, he likes the people that are in the video, he just didn't like the video. Got a text. Anyways, when he said that he liked the people in the video, just didn't like the video, it's very much like the argument, hate the sin, not the sinner, right? And he was offended by the video. And I go on in my video to say, well, the reason why he's offended is because of the Christian culture that he comes from, and I never brought up the word bigot in my whole video. I have brought up the word bigot before, and it does kind of apply here, But South Dakota Girl is the one that goes there. She says that the people who did this, they did it solely for the purpose of attempting to offend people who are more sensitive, right? And that's why it's offensive. In fact, previous to that video coming out, I actually filmed my portion of the next installment of that series, where I take part in the next episode of the Expletive Bible. And when I did it, it was more of an expression of, Christian beliefs have no bearing on what I do. So I really like taking little bits of art and then adding other things and remixing it, And I can do that regardless of what Christians think I should or should not do. And for me, it was an expression of that freedom. It wasn't really to offend anyone that is Christian watching it. It was really to express that I am not underneath their thumb because they have some silly fucking magical beliefs. So, besides Schizophrenic Queen, you now have me to use as an example of someone who didn't do it just for the purpose of offending people. I had a really fun time doing it. That was another reason to do it, having fun. I tried to sound as much like the Sopranos as possible. Then she goes on to say anti-theists will be intolerant and insensitive. Here's the thing. When people, blindside me like this, I have no motivation to check them out. But also, it seems like they have no motivation to check me out before they speak either, because, I even have a video up on my channel saying why I do not identify as an anti-theist. So I'm gathering that she's calling me an anti-theist by my actions. She sees that I've made an argument against a religious argument, so therefore I must be an anti-theist. To her, that's the way that it works. So remember this point: by my actions. Okay, so then she says, but those are the real bigots here, not people like Losoya who have the balls and come out and let people know what and why was offended by something. Okay, first, look up the definition of the word bigotry. You have a belief, you're intolerant of other people's beliefs, you're a bigot. So this is very close to the saying there is no such thing as reverse discrimination, only discrimination. So in this case, there is no such thing as him being bigoted towards what we're doing, what we're practicing, apart from his belief that these things are offensive. We express ourselves, and we don't have to abide by his rules. But he would like that people would be less offensive, which really is, more in line with what's right in his culture, So, me not liking his being offended by that makes me the bigot. But, is bigotry of bigotry really bigotry? And then here's the third level of that. South Dakota girl has bigotry for my bigotry of his bigotry for the offensive video. How many levels of this are we going to have? So then she says, good luck with getting up every day and styling my hair to perfection. I think my hair is far from perfection, but that's probably sarcasm on her part. To just the other anti-theists that will agree with me, check the comments on my videos, and also talk about their own hair on camera. Oh, I'm sorry. Talking about my hair on camera again. And then it ends with piece of shit. Now, go back to the earlier part where I said she doesn't know who I am, but she has declared me an anti-theist, probably by, my actions. Is it a very Christian thing to start out by saying something is utter bullshit and then call someone a piece of shit? It's a good thing I don't classify people by their actions. I actually ask them what their beliefs are, because I would infer by this that she isn't a Christian if I went by what people's actions were. So yeah, what grinds my gears is when people out of nowhere come with their first statement to me, and it's just something like that, and in the comment itself is just fucking self-refuting fail. Yeah. Next thing I got sent to me. Here. Someone sent me an article saying tree hugging now scientifically proven to improve health issues. What grinds my gears about this is people who believe in magic and miracles and bullshit like that trying to steal the carry-in from the mouths of the scientific world and calling something scientifically proven. And then you go down in the article and it says, the answer to how plants and trees affect us physiologically turns out to be very simple. It all has to do with the fact that everything vibrates, and different vibrations affect biological behaviors. It's been proven that if you drink a glass of water that's been treated with 10 hertz vibration, your blood coagulation rates will change immediately on ingesting the treated water. It is the same with trees. When touching a tree is different vibrational pattern, it will affect various biological behaviors within your body. So, yeah. When people try to pass shit like that off as science and try to sell magnets that you put in a bracelet that you wear all the time and say, oh, you're going to have less chance of heart attack, and completely rip people off like that, and say, hey, people that are, next to trees have better lives because trees put off a different vibration, there actually could be something scientific to that notion. You could actually test people for their health and well-being, but it would probably be confounded with the fact that the people who live closest to trees are better off financially, because inner city people that are poor don't have as many trees around them. It's just like saying drinking a glass of wine every day is something that improves your health. Well, the people who drink a glass of wine every day probably have health insurance because both are expensive. But there could be something to it. It could be just mere coincidence. Correlation doesn't really imply causation, but it could be correlated. But if people like this are running the tests, I would not give it any credence whatsoever. This is bullshit. And the last thing, the Doctor Who nerd sent me a link to 3 parts of the Howard Stern show, where Glenn Beck is making the argument against evolution, and they're talking about it, and I guess it really helps me to get up in the morning when people load up my inbox with things that they know are going to grind my gears. So on to the tagging part. All the links to everything that I've talked about will be below in the description box. I'm going to tag AtomBomb669 because last night while I was asleep, he decided to tag himself in a photo on my Facebook as a marshmallow peep in one of the pictures. Took it upon himself to tag himself. So I'm going to tag him with this video tag thing. Blue Juggernaut, Happy Atheist 76, and Shara for starting all of this bullshit by having the idea for the expletive Bible. She is now tagged in the What Grinds My Gears tag video shit. Oh, and last night I was flagged on Facebook for a picture which was an argument against religion, and I don't even want to put the picture on YouTube because a lot of the people that are my Facebook friends are actually subscribed to my YouTube channel. So whoever flagged it is probably both my friend on Facebook and subscribed to me. So, yeah, friend. So I got flagged on this picture, not sharing it with anyone, but it does grind my gears to think that in my own photo album on Facebook, something that is just an anti-religious picture, gets flagged. It's my statement, but it's on my Facebook, I might upload to a different channel my I took my camera and pointed at, me getting flagged on that. I might upload it to a different channel, me getting flagged for that picture, because there's an image of the picture and I don't want that flagged on this channel. So flagging grinds my gears, no matter where it happens, YouTube or Facebook or anywhere. So yeah.